find the strength and the will and the energy to help her continue forward and pursue all the opportunities that life still has in store for her. And I would be hypocritical in my faith if I chose the alternative, which is to curl up in fear.
It's been a terrible loss. We loved Reagan with all our heart, and we missed her. It's very tough.
You, friend.
Vengeance is mine! There is so much untapped power in this world. How is it even possible? How's the weather down there?
What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas. If you're on Patreon, you might be getting this on Christmas Day. Either way, welcome back to the channel. A bit of good news. Stefan just had his baby girl this last weekend, but that means it's only going to be me for a couple weeks. But the end goal is to get Stefan on the channel every single week, and hopefully that happens soon, and it should be both of us. Today is a bit different. You know how I like cases. I like them a little bit different. And I keep coming across the story of Kenneth White. And while I was researching that case, I came across another case that was very, very similar. Today, I will be talking about both of these cases. They happened on the same highway in separate states, but only a few months apart in time. What actually happened is what really makes these two stories eerily similar and very, very interesting. So stick around because you won't want to miss the second story in today's episode. Kenneth White's story starts not too long ago on October 18th, 2017. Kenneth White was a 32-year-old man who lived in Mount Morris, Michigan. He had 4 children and seemed to be a hardworking man. He was riding passenger seat in an Econoline van on the way home from where he was working at a construction site. He was being given a ride home at around 8:30 p.m. from his coworker and friend, Steve Amthor. They were traveling on I-75 in Vienna Township, which is about 16 miles outside of Flint, Michigan. As the van passed under the Dodge Road overpass, a 6-pound rock was thrown off the overpass. The rock crashed through the windshield of the van and struck Kenneth White in the head and chest. Unfortunately, after this incident, Kenneth would no longer be able to go home to his family. He didn't survive. So who did this, and why did this happen? You know, a lot of times, basically every episode that we put up in most episodes of any true crime channel or podcast seems like a pointless loss of life, pretty much every time. But as you'll see when we get into this was just so ridiculously, it just didn't have to happen. It could have been avoided so easily. So that day on October 18th, 2017, 5 teenage friends who all went to the Clio High School in Vienna Township got together to hang out. They decided that they wanted to play a game they called Overpassers. This is where you throw a rock off an overpass, and you hit a car and you get points when you hit the car. It's called a dinger when you hit the car, and supposedly they would bet money on this. And that's pretty interesting because I remember from when I was a kid hearing of people or other kids doing stuff like this. I've never known it to be an actual game, but you kind of always hear stories, and I'm pretty sure I've heard stories of something like this happening. But this was real bad. The teenagers' names were Trevor Gray, who was 15 years old, Alexander Miller, 15 years old, Micah Payne, 16 years old, Mark Sikelski, 16 years old, and Kyle Anger, who was the oldest at 17 years old. The teens decided they wanted to do this, and they picked up a bunch of large rocks from a dead-end street in their town. They loaded the rocks up into the back of Kyle Anger's truck and went to the overpass. Who knew that what they were going to do would end up ending someone's life?
The driver of the van hit by a 6-pound rock in Michigan is speaking out about the deadly incident for the first time. Stephen Amthor says he's devastated he could not save his friend's life. Kenneth White was killed when the rock smashed through the windshield. 5 high school students are charged with second-degree murder for allegedly throwing the rock.
I don't blame myself what happened. I blame myself like I couldn't do enough.
Stephen Amthor says Kenneth White's death left him feeling angry and numb. He was driving White, his employee, home after a day's work. They were talking about baseball when a rock suddenly smashed through the windshield.
We were less than 5 miles from his house, and next thing I know, I'm pulled over trying to keep him from bleeding out.
The van that Kenneth White was riding passenger in was actually the 5th car to be hit.